a part of town that people don't like to go through because you're always going to be you're always going to have panhandlers. So what we do is we bring lots of granola bars, and then we will also pick one. We'll pick one person, build the time in our schedule, and they say, do you have any money for food? And we go, no, but you know what? I'd love to have lunch with you. Want to go for lunch? And they go, what? Yeah, where would you like to go? Would you, here's a Thai restaurant here. The great thing is when they try to walk in the door with you and the people head them off at the door, and you say, no, this is my friend, they're with me. And you bring them in, you sit down, you have lunch, and you just ask them their story. It's such a powerful thing. It changes your heart. That was an application that God has given Joy and I. But it must be personal. I don't know where that goes. But you see, the great thing about what we did in North Langley is we didn't have to organize anything. Because all in the hands of the people. They do it themselves. They do it on their own dollar. There's no administration. There's no structure. Because it is a truly shared vision. Next thing is identify. Identify those with vision. Now, how do you know who has vision? You're looking at people who give some evidence that they understand the mission. They understand the story. They get it. Not entirely, but they got the message, so they're in the playing field. And secondly, they're beginning to do it. These are your visionary leaders. People that are starting to do what you're preaching. Okay? Step 4. Dream with them and with them alone. This is the biggest mistake in most local churches. We create vision statements with people that have no vision. So we end up with something that might be catchy, but it has no power. You know, a vision statement has never changed anything in the world unless it's language that simply captures and catches an internal shared vision. So we often create those vision statements with the wrong people. We try to get a representative sample of people that go to church instead of getting people who are the church, who have caught the vision of following Jesus and are starting to do it without you. So what you do is only get them. And you gather them together and you start getting them to share their story, share their passion, cry together, dream together. And what you do as a leader is you start listening and listening to all and identifying some of the common things that God is doing and saying. And it's almost like you get your needle and thread and you start to weave in and out of this, and then you start to pull it together and feed it back to the people and say, is God saying this? Is this part? Like, dream with me. With all of these things that you're seeing and the dreams that God is showing you, what is this community going to be 10 years from now? What could we believe for, hope for? What would be possible if God really caught a hold of us and we obeyed him? And that's where you start getting the language of vision from those people and those people alone. And from time to time, you have to... It's not just passionate people. There has to be an understanding of the kingdom message as well. So there's constant nurturing and correcting. I mean, you know, all of us are going to have... Now, I'm going to step... Everybody, just pull your toes in. I'm going to step on them right now. There's going to be people that want to come in and blow shofars and celebrate all the Jewish feasts and everything, right? I mean, that's one of the wonderful, colorful parts of the fabric of our churches. But another way of looking at that is that we're going to have a lot of passionate Christian Zionists. Well, what that means is they don't understand the kingdom. They understand dispensationalism, but they don't understand the kingdom message. So we need to sit down and say, I love your passion, but let's plow up the soil a little bit here. Because in the long run of time, we're going to be on message and not distracted by the messages of many. in any later stages of anything that's collapsing, and modern evangelicalism is one of those things, we get more and more exotic because we're bored. And we like to create all these exciting new things that maybe even seem good in themselves, but really have no enduring power. So call them back to the plumb line again and again and say, we're going to love Israel, but we're not going to be dispensationalists. Right? Sorry. Next, number 5. When you found that community, which might be a very small portion of your, quote, church, and you've dreamed together with them, release them. Let them go. Let them go and let them initiate. But protect their initiatives. Keep them from getting swallowed up by all the important structures of the church. Right? And the church will do that. The church actually smothers vision by getting all the wrong people doing all the wrong things. Or doing right things that they have no vision for. We run the church through obligation and loyalty rather than running it through vision. So why don't you just cancel most of your programs? Maybe. Good programs, important programs. But if no one has a vision to do them, you might as well evaluate that and realize we're in a bad place. You're always trying to beat people in to work with kids, aren't you? Beat them with a stick. You try everything. You threaten to bomb their houses, and you report them to the police as a potential abuser or whatever. Just to get people, you get them to feel really guilty. You pull the child up who says, "I don't have a teacher," right? That one works, actually. But in the long run of time, how long do you want to do that? See, write this down. Vision drives everything. If you don't have workers, at the core of your problem is a vision problem. They don't see that anyone who doesn't work with children is an idiot. I'm serious. I'm serious. And I can point you to a lot of studies today. The most strategic thing we can do today is work with children. And we can transform a next generation because their parents sure ain't going to teach them. And there's incredible hunger. But you got to do this through vision. You have to go back. You have to preach the message. Jesus brought the child. And this is the kingdom message, right? It's always a vision problem. Don't try to manage yourself out of visionary problems. So can it? Have the kids sitting in people's lives and then talk for the next 4 months about children. And don't tell them what to do until a number of parents and others are getting together in singles and saying, we have to do something. Right? And then some things will emerge and you won't have to sustain them at all. Right? But you will need to protect them. See, programs and structure are good and important. They're just demonized. I'm serious. It's always supposed to serve. But when you don't look, structure always jumps over top and tries to rule. So you have to keep slapping it down all the time so that it actually serves life, not vice versa. You have to protect life. And you have to protect these new seedlings of vision and not let other people recruit them and crush them with all sorts of other burdens. And you have to let them see that vision begin to emerge. And you do that by always saying yes. Doesn't that frighten any pastor in here? So, you get somebody who goes, okay, I got a vision. I want to go down to the inner city and I want to have a whole youth center, like a center for all of these street youths, right? So we can come in through relationship. Well, I would listen to them. I go, absolutely.